Welcome to Cook the Garden Podcast, your weekly audio source for delicious and easy garden fresh recipes and growing tips. I'm your host, Janine Grays. Let's cook the garden. Hello there. Welcome back. This is Janine with Cook the Garden Podcast, and I'm so super excited for another season. If this is your first time listening, big welcome to you. I'm so happy you can join us, and I'm really looking forward to diving into this season. So for today, I'm really excited because we'll be discussing some creative ways to freeze your fresh herbs from the garden. Whether you have a surplus of herbs from your garden or you just simply want to make your herbs last longer, freezing them is a great option. So let's dive into some creative ways to freeze your herbs. First, one of the easiest ways to freeze herbs is by simply chopping them up, placing them into ice cube trays, and filling the tray with either water or oil, and then, of course, freezing it. I refer to these as herb bombs. Check out the link in my show notes for the recipe to make my garlic and parsley and basil herb bombs. They're so amazing. I make them all the time. You can actually switch it out depending on what different herbs that you have. You can substitute for different herbs. It's just a really great method. It works particularly well for hardier herbs such as rosemary, thyme, of course, the basil, parsley, oregano. So once the herb cubes are frozen, you can just simply pop them out of the trays and store them in a Ziploc bag and label it and add it to your freezer. You can use these herb bombs in soups, stews, sauces, dressings. You can even add flavor to your favorite drink or glass of water. But of course, for those, you definitely want to use the water herb bombs. You wouldn't want to use an oil. So just wanted to add that clarification. Another creative way to freeze your herbs is by blending them with oil and then freezing them in a small container. So, this method works well for softer herbs, maybe your cilantros, parsley does really well too, basil also. So, simply what you would do with this is blend your herbs with a neutral oil. Um, you can use vegetable oil, canola oil, and then what you want to do is you want to blend it with the herbs until it forms kind of like a paste-like consistency. You can then store the herb paste in small airtight containers, or you can also use ice cube trays as well. The herb paste cubes can be used to add flavor to your sauces. Um, they can make great dressings, marinades. You can even use them as a spread for your breads. So, just so much you can do by going this route, and just a really great way to stretch those herbs. Now, if you have a dehydrator, you can also dry your herbs and then freeze them in Ziploc bags. This method is ideal for herbs such as sage, thyme, rosemary. Simply dry your herbs in the dehydrator, crush them into smaller pieces, and then store them in a Ziploc bag in your freezer. You can use these dried herbs in your soups, stews. You can even make rubs out of them, okay? It's terrific. So, lastly, if you're feeling particularly creative, you can also make your own herb infused butter. So, I've been really playing around with this and I absolutely love it. I'm actually going to be adding some more content to my social media and sharing how I infuse my herbs into different butters. But with this, you simply chop up your favorite herbs, you mix them with softened butter, and roll the mixture into a log. Then, what you would do is wrap the log in wax paper or a plastic wrap, saran wrap type, and store it in your freezer. You can then slice off rounds of the herb-infused butter to add flavor to any dish. They're amazing, and I'm absolutely hooked on it. Okay. So look for more content on social media on the herb-infused butters. So, all in all, there are so many creative ways to freeze your fresh herbs from the garden, from freezing them in ice cube trays to making herb infused butters. The possibilities are just really endless, and you can get really creative with it. And I know you all will agree with me on this. There's nothing better than being able to enjoy your fresh herbs from the garden year round. Now, these were just a few ways that I enjoy making my herb stretch. But if you have some ideas and tips and tricks that work for you, definitely share them. I would love to hear what you have going on over there in your herb garden and how you make your herb stretch. So, I encourage you guys to join our new Facebook group. We have a brand new Facebook group called Cook the Garden Cooking and Gardening Tips on Facebook. Check it out. It's a really great place where we take conversations from the podcast and just continue those conversations. And it's a great place for our members to share what they have going on in their gardens, what you got cooking in your kitchen, recipes, and all that good stuff. So please join our group, Cook the Garden, Cooking and Gardening Tips on Facebook. I'll include that link in the show notes below. Remember, let's also connect offline as well. I am always looking to learn more and get your feedback. And if you all have any ideas, I am open to them. So definitely shoot me an email at info@cookprayslay.com. And I would just love to hear from you. So I'll include that information in the show notes as well. Thank you for joining me for episode 1 of season 2, and I look forward to doing it again next week. Have a blessed week, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Cook the Garden. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. As a new podcast, it really helps to add value while growing our awesome community. As always, I really appreciate it. Until next time, friends, keep slaying those garden fresh recipes.